What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm doing my week 6 picks. It's honestly crazy. It's already week 6. I feel like the first half of the season is really flying by, but there are some pretty good games this week. And so we're just going to jump right into it, honestly. So Broncos and Chiefs. I think this is one of the easier picks of the week. Not the easiest, because we'll get there, but one of the easier picks of the week. I'm picking the Chiefs in this one. I think they're just, one of the better teams in the entire NFL. And the Broncos are one of the worst teams in the NFL, so it just kind of comes down to that. And yeah, moving on from that one, Titans and Ravens was a bit more interesting. I'm actually going to pick the Titans in this game, which is, I would say, probably a small upset. I don't think it's like completely out of the question, in my opinion. So I'm going to go with an upset there and pick the Titans. That game is being played in London, though, so neither team really has a home field advantage per se. But I'm going to go with the Titans. I've liked what I've seen from them at times. In my opinion, they are one of the most inconsistent teams this year because, like, whenever I pick them, they lose, and whenever I don't pick them, they win. So I'm going to try and just pick them this week and see if we can break the streak and actually pick a Titans game correct. But maybe we'll keep this streak going all year long. Who knows? Next is the Falcons and the Commanders. Now, this is very interesting, though, because I want to pick the Commanders. I think the Commanders are the better team by a little bit, but Desmond Ridder has never lost at home. And at a certain point, you do have to honor that he is a very good player when he's playing at home. So especially considering last week, he came off a very good week. Last week's probably his best game in a very long time, maybe ever. So I'm going to pick the Falcons. I think it's going to be a very, very close game. And honestly, I feel like the Commanders are still just the better team. They must beat the Eagles. But again, the Commanders are also a little inconsistent themselves. So I'm going to go with the Falcons in a very close game, and Ridder keeps his home streak alive. Next is the Vikings and the Bears. Now, I think while they have the same record, they're at two very different spots in their season because the Bears, by all means, want to turn things around. You really want to have a decent season with Fields. You want to try and still kind of steer the ship in the right direction, while the Vikings now have to kind of question, do they just sit Jefferson for the rest of the year because he's already on IR? Do we get rid of Kirk while he still has a little bit of value before he probably just walks at the end of the season? Who knows? There's a lot of things to consider because both teams are the same record but in two very different spots. With that said, though, I'm picking the Bears. I think they win 2 in a row. That's probably going to be my biggest upset of the week that I pick. I think the Vikings are, again, the better team, but without Jefferson, it obviously hurts you a lot. But also, I just think the Bears are really trying to hit a stride and get some wins piling up. And I do think that they win again this week, so I'm picking the Bears there. As for the Seahawks and the Bengals are, again, a team that I have not been able to pick very well this year at all. I'm going to pick them in this game. I think seeing Burrow play this past week made me feel a lot more confident in the Bengals this week because he looked a lot healthier. He was running. He wasn't really hobbling. He looks pretty mobile considering how he's looking weeks past. And not to mention, assuming he doesn't aggravate it this week, he goes into a bye and really rests up. And then after the bye week, I'll feel much more comfortable taking the Bengals. But this week, I am still going to take them in Cincinnati. I think they win another one and finally make it to 500 on the season. But I think it will be a very close game. And then 49ers and Browns, I'm picking the 49ers. I mean, the Browns, they're decent. They're pretty good. But the 49ers are, in my opinion, the best team in football right now, the most consistent team in football right now. And, yeah, I honestly just have enough said there. 49ers in that game. Saints and Texans, this is a very hard game for me to pick because the Texans nearly won last week. They did end up losing, but it was a good game. And I think this will be very similar. I think it'll be a very close game throughout. The Saints are a team that I have said before that I honestly do not think is as good as their record shows. I think they are still a decent team, but not as good as their record shows. But you can't ignore was it 34-0 win, I think, last? I mean, it was a massive win. So you can't ignore that. Regardless of how bad the Patriots are, you have to respect a win that big. And with that said, I'm going to pick the Saints. I've gone back and forth a lot. I think it will be a close game, but I think the Saints do come out on top. But a very back and forth game, maybe low scoring too, but very similar to how last week was for the Texans is kind of how I see this week going as well. And then next is the Colts and the Jaguars. Now, again, this is a very tough game. Both teams are at the top of the division right now. Unfortunately, Anthony Richardson's hurt, so I am going to pick the Jaguars. And honestly, it's not because of Richardson's injury. I think Minshew's a good quarterback too. I think the Jaguars are now finally starting to get their footing and kind of being able to play consistently how I thought they would be able to play this entire season because their offense, at least their offense's ceiling is incredibly high. They have a lot of potential there, and I think they're starting to kind of hit that. and maybe find a groove. And I think they continue to find that this week, and they beat the Colts in Jacksonville. And then next is the Panthers and Dolphins. I said the Chiefs game was not the easiest one to pick this week, and I was not lying. This is a freebie. It's a freebie. The Panthers, in my opinion, as a Panthers fan, do not have a prayer. If they hold the Dolphins to less than 40 points, I will be thrilled, to be honest. And if they lose by less than probably 25, I couldn't be happier. Because honestly, if they put up 70 points on the Broncos, I don't see why they couldn't put up 70 more points against the Panthers. Unfortunately, Devon Achane is hurt and he's on IR, which really sucks because I like that guy a lot. He's a great player. Dolphins are fun to watch, and they're a lot more fun to watch with him in there. So, tough loss, but against the Panthers, it really does not matter. Dolphins by 1,000,000. And then move on to the Patriots and the Raiders. First time these teams have played since the whole kind of, Jacoby Myers lateral thing, and then the Raiders won the game. And now, funny enough, Jacoby Myers is actually on the Raiders. So, pretty funny. But I'm picking the Raiders. The Patriots are one of the worst teams in the NFL, in my opinion. So, got to pick the Raiders in this one. I don't think neither team is necessarily very good, but the Raiders are not as bad as the Patriots, if that makes sense. But again, the Patriots offense has sucked the past 2 weeks. They're looking for a bounce back week. Maybe they hit it this week. I don't know. But still, I'm picking the Raiders. And then Lions and Buccaneers. This is a game where, for whatever reason, I was very tempted to take the Buccaneers in an upset. They're in Tampa Bay. So I thought, maybe it's kind of a bit of a trap game for the Lions. They slip up and they lose, which I think is on the table, but I have to pick the Lions. They've been so hot recently, and they're one of the teams I thought would be very good this year, which I'm not alone in thinking that. Obviously, they're like a popular favorite for most improved team. So I'm going to pick the Lions. I think it could be much closer than people might expect it to be, but I am going to pick the Lions in that. Next is the Rams and the Cardinals. Once again, this could be a game that is a lot closer than people might expect, but I'm going to pick the Rams. They have Cooper Kupp back. Puka Nacua is still in there, of course. Really, really nice offense, and I think it's just going to be too much for the Cardinals to really handle. If they get down this game, I don't see a way they're able to come back and do it, so I'm picking the Rams. And then Eagles and Jets, so I'm picking the Eagles in this game. Maybe the Jets give them a game. They gave the Chiefs a game. I think the Chiefs and the Eagles are some of the better teams in the entire NFL, so maybe that happens, but I just think the Eagles are much better than the Jets, so I got to pick the Eagles in that one. And then Giants and Bills, again, this is one where I feel like it could be quite the blowout, so I'm picking the Bills. Maybe the Giants kind of play well for some reason. The Bills choke. Anything's possible, I guess. This isn't the game I have the most confident on because, again, I think the Dolphins are more of a lock and the Chiefs are more of a lock. But I would be very shocked if the Bills lost this. So I had the Bills in that one as well. But the Monday night game is a lot better than the Sunday night game. The Cowboys and the Chargers. I'm picking the Chargers in this. The Cowboys, and it's not because the Cowboys lost last week. Yes, it was very bad, but more so because I think the Chargers are a lot better than what their record shows. I think they've had some very kind of close calls this year, including their losses. So I'm picking the Chargers in that. I think they win. I think it's a really high-scoring game, a really exciting game. But I only have the Chargers coming away with that one at home. And that is going to do it for my week picks. Make sure you guys comment down below your upset of the week. Tell me what game you think is going to end up in a massive upset that no one sees coming. Whether it's a big one, kind of like the Panthers beating the Dolphins, or whether it's a kind of a smaller one like the Titans maybe coming out on top of the Ravens, or anything like that. Also, make sure you guys are subscribed to my channel for more NFL content. I do my week picks every week. I do my power rankings every week, and then also any other NFL rankings videos, NFL tier list videos. I do those too, and other rankings. I also do Madden, where we do gameplays, pack openings, no money spent series, all that kind of stuff. So thank you guys for watching. I do really appreciate it. Thanks for all the support, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.